Hi everyone, welcome to the Trophy Coins channel and the trophycoins.com website. Today we're going to be looking at 1809 half cents, in particular the normal date in brown condition. When we talk about half cents and colors, it's very important to understand how the grading services look at these coins. In general, if a coin has 5% or less red color, they're going to call it brown. If it's between 5 and 95%, they're going to call it red-brown. And if it's above 95%, they're going to call it red. Now you can tell that the spectrum of red-brown runs from 5 to 95, so there's a lot of variations in the color there. And we'll see that as we go through these coins today. Clearly, a coin that has more mint red, all other things considered, that coin should command a premium over a coin that has lesser color. Quality of the surfaces is very important, but people are also very intrigued by the amount of red color that it remains, because these coins, you got to remember, they're over 200 years old now, and copper is a fairly reactive metal. I mean, it can be, if it's in the correct environment, it can be very stable. But if it's not preserved properly, that mint red will eventually fade into a brown color. So it's important to preserve the coin, number one, and then second, to evaluate the premium that you're going to pay for more or less red. The 1809 half cent is comprised of numerous varieties. There are also two other varieties that we're not going to look at today. What we're looking at are the so-called normal dates. The other varieties are the circle inside the zero, which of the date, and then there is also the 1809 over inverted 9, where the 9 was punched into the die upside down and then corrected with a normal 9. Traditionally that has been called the 1809 over 6, but it's really an 1809 over inverted 9. So let's start with the finest 1809 half cents here, and this does not include the red-brown example. This is just the brown. So we'll look at some of these. Most of these are going to be very glossy examples. The surfaces are going to be great. The strike should be good, but we'll talk about that as we go through too. In general, these are just really phenomenal half cents, and you'll see they come from some very famous name collections. The first example is a PCGS MS66 that also has a CAC sticker. This is a C3 variety, and you can see on this one here on the front you have denticles running from about 3 o'clock that are nice and clear all the way around to about 11 or 11:30. Then the weak at the top here, and sometimes this is caused by misaligned dies. You can also see some stuff going on here, and I'm not sure if that's in the planchet or the die. But when you look at other areas of the obverse here, the strike is really good on the stars on the left side, a little bit weak on the top star on the right side. But overall, the hair detail is excellent, and it's a very nice coin. The color is good. It's sort of like a light brown, and we're looking for a chocolate brown color, or even something with a little bit faded mint red. Copper, unfortunately, is a very unstable metal. If it's stored properly, it's can be protected over time. But in theory, as we go through the centuries, this original red color will disappear and fade into brown. It's not an immediate concern. Most of the red pennies and half cents that I've seen have been very stable, and unless you're treating them poorly or storing them in a very humid environment or exposing them to the atmosphere, they will change. So you have to be very protective of these coins. When we look at the color of the back of this coin, you can see some areas of lighter color, and then there's a little bit of these are either digs or environmental damage here. Very minor. They've taken that into consideration. This coin might have been a 67 otherwise. And if you look at the strike, the denticles on the back are very, very weak. They're only strong here on the right side and a little bit of the left side. But this is a phenomenal example, and we can look and see the price history on this. This was purchased in 1970 from the Alto collection for $180, and it went into the collection of R. Tettenhorst. He was known as the Missouri Cabinet. His nickname was also Tet. And he put together the finest collection of half cents ever assembled, and his coins sold for $63,000. So 44 years after the 1970 sale, it sold for $63,000. So that'll give you an indication of the premium that people are willing to pay for high-grade half cents nowadays. Next example is another MS66 brown. This has a CAC sticker, graded by NGC, and this is another C3 variety. This one has a similar strike. We see the strong denticles from 3 o'clock up to about 11 o'clock. And same thing on the reverse, although this is a little bit stronger on the bottom, but you can see it's very weak here, and we suspect that that's something that's in the die, because normally you would see very strong details here. This came out of the Don Partridge collection, sold in 2021 for $21,000. Another great coin. Here's a C6 variety, 1809 C6. This is a PCGS MS66 Plus brown with CAC sticker. This has a little bit of a more orangish color. In reality, the coin probably is a little bit darker than this. It's very difficult to convey pictures or the true quality of copper coins in pictures. But you can see that the color is very even. This one has great denticles all around the obverse and most of the reverse. A little bit weak on the stars 1 through 4 here on the front, but the other stars are on the right side are very strong. Hair details are very good, so this is a really top-notch half cent. A little bit of spotting here on the reverse, but that's super minor and perfectly consistent with the grade. You can see here the price history of this goes way back to the early 1930s, and it sold most recently in the Deep Brent Poe collection. Actually, it sold twice. It didn't sell the first time, then brought 28,800 the second time. This coin has a fairly checkered history in the sense that it sold for 80,500 when it came out of the Missouri cabinet. That was Eric P. Newman's and Tet's collection. It didn't do very well after Brent Pogue bought the coin. It sold for like a third of what it went for in 2014. I don't know what D.L. Hansen paid for it, certainly more than the 28.8, but it's now in his collection. And D.L. Hansen, if you remember, is trying to put together a complete collection of U.S. coins, a feat accomplished only by Louis Eliasberg in the past. No one else has ever done it. The next coin is one of my favorite because it does have faded mint red here. You can see these little reddish areas in the protected areas around the stars and the devices and the date. This is this sort of red color that we like. We would love to see it more even, but if you saw any more than this, it would be a red-brown example. So this is an indication of the spectrum of the brown and the red-brown color. This one is graded PCGS MS65 brown. And it has a little bit darker area on the reverse. Otherwise, it probably would have been a 6. This coin last sold in 2024, just earlier this year, for $18,000. And this was part of the collection put together by Jim McGuigan. Jim was a good personal friend of mine. I knew him from the 70s and actually camped out at his house a couple times. He put together a collection that was probably rivaled the Tet collection. I don't know that it would equal it, but I mean, it came super, super close. In the Tet collection, Jim bought a lot of the Tet coins, so that really elevated his collection to a new level. And I think if you compare the two, it's going to be very, very close. Both phenomenal collections. Here's another 1809 C6. Now, you compare these two. This is a C6 here that Jim had, and this is another C6 here. This is a later state. You can see the denticles all start to weaken. The star detail is a little bit stronger here, a little bit weaker on the right side. Compare that to this one here that is just a superb, superb strike. That doesn't really hurt the value of the coin. I mean, obviously would prefer a coin that is more well struck, and we find this in, let's say, Jefferson nickels, where people want full steps, or standing Liberty quarters, where people want full heads. Those are the result of a full strike. In half cents, it's not that important, and we'll see by the price here that this coin sold out of the Tettenhorst collection for $44,000. And Bruce Gimelson, who was the owner of the Garrison collection, took a little bit of a hit here, lost $30,000 when this coin resold in 2024. You got to remember, when the Tet collection sold, there were a lot of people that were very strong collectors of the half cents, so prices went through the roof. I mean, it was a widely recognized collection, highly publicized and well attended, so the prices went through the roof. Later on, not so much. The couple of the big players either died or quit collecting, so the support for these high prices sort of fell. And this is typical of the coin market. There are areas, certain types, certain denominations that become very strong at certain times, and then they sort of peter out later on. But in general, the trend of the coin market is up, but you'll always see circumstances and individual coins where you have some pretty significant price drops. This one has nice color, nice even color. We like that on a half cent. We don't want to see areas of discoloration or splotchiness or carbon spotting. This is just a very pretty 1809 half cent graded PCGS MS65, and also with a CAC sticker. Next coin is a C3. That was the finest known we see at the top of the list here. So this is an MS65 brown, also with a CAC sticker. This is a fairly dark brown. There's no red on this coin at all. And you can see the weakness of the strike, which, you know, is indicating a late state of the dies, where they just sort of got worn, and maybe they reduced the striking pressure a little bit to preserve the dies. But this is also a nice, very attractive coin, and it sold for only $4,700 recently. So here you have one of the top 10 1809 half cents, certainly of the variety, and you can buy it for, in this case, less than $5,000. And again, we see a little bit of a drop in price over the years between 2014 and even a year later, 2015. It happens. Another C6. This was a really great strike, slightly off center on the obverse and reverse, but a really well struck example. Nice even color, PCGS MS65 brown. And you can see here where the strike and the balanced color work in its favor. This one sold for $10,575 as part of the Brent Pogue collection in 2017. We'll show you another couple here. This is a C3. Now this one, for a C3, is also very well struck for a C3. Again, it's a weak here on the top between 11 o'clock and 2:30, and same thing on the reverse. We saw that on the finest example we saw earlier. I'm not sure if this is the beginning of a die cut here or a rim bruise. I think it looks like a die cut. This one has a really nice color, a little bit of red color here by the C on the reverse and in the ribbon on the bow of the reverse. This one can be had, or was sold, for $4,900 earlier this year, so that looks like a kind of a bargain. This one, not a very good picture. This came out of a heritage sale in 2016. MS65 brown, another C3, and we'll do one more here. Another C3. So we only have two varieties in the normal date that are finest known, C3 and C6. This is an MS64 brown CAC graded by PCGS, and now we can see that they start to drop in value significantly. You can buy, or you could have bought this one for $3,120. So that'll give you a taste of the 1809 normal date half cents. And if you are looking to buy one or sell one, you can go to the Trophy Coins website and see the price history of these coins, and then make a informed judgment on what you should pay for it or what you should ask for it. And that's really the purpose of the site, to give you an idea of what's available and what the pricing should be. We're not a price guide, but we show unbiased pricing information that will help you make a more informed decision. Keep in mind that new coins are being found all the time, and that you have to realize that this is a work in progress, and make your own due diligence when you're buying and selling these coins. I want to mention also that we are updating the site constantly. It appears to be a static site, but I'm telling you, every day I work on it, and I'm putting in scores and scores of new images and new pricing data. Anytime there's a new auction, we update it immediately. So be sure to come back and make sure that you journey throughout the site and have fun. Just look at all the different coins that are there, and you might even find something that is new that might interest you as a new collecting area. If you like these videos, please hit the subscribe button, the notification bell, so YouTube will notify you anytime I put up a new video. And if you have a comment or a suggestion for a future coin, put that in the comments below. Thank you very much for being here, and we will see you in the next one.